Episode of Into Your Word. I'm Joyce, and today I'm going to be speaking on Luke 12, where Jesus addresses his detractors, namely the Pharisees, and he condemns them in the midst of all of the others, the thousands of the multitudes, it says, who were gathered to listen to Jesus. Here is Jesus condemning this one thing, and that would be the focus of my message today. He says, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. Nothing is covered that will not be revealed, or hidden that will not be known. And he goes on to say, whatever you have said in the dark shall be heard in the light, and what you have whispered in private rooms shall be proclaimed upon the housetops. And I clearly resonate with this today because just recently we went through so much of toxicity because one person has said in confidence to something to another, and that went around, and it created a whole massive breakdown in relationships. So what happens, and I was sharing with this with one of my friends, and she said the same thing, the similar thing happened to someone else that she knew, how sharing in confidence was then just blurted out, and relationships broken down. And so what is important here? That number one, of course, as humans, we need to share with others. When I go through a problem and I want to share with someone, I try as far as possible, though sometimes there are times when it becomes a bit unbearable and I have overstepped my boundaries. But it's very healthy, if we want comfort, to share with someone who is a third person, who is not involved in this whole narrative, so that they do not make assumptions, and then because they are listening to just one side of the story, which is my side, and which can be biased towards me. I remember when this quote, someone said, justice, a verdict in your favor, because all of us, we believe that we are right all the time. Very rarely do we think, I did something that was wrong. And even when we do something which is wrong, it is not very, and we want to apologize, it's not very, very specific. Recently, my daughter pointed out something to me. I was writing an apology note to someone because I felt that was owed. And so I showed her, can you check this out? Because I want an unbiased opinion on this. And she said, Mom, you're not taking accountability for what you did that was wrong. Name what you did. And I found so much of wisdom in that. Name my sin when I speak, when I truly apologize to someone. So it was a very humbling experience for me, but I did it. I was like, oh my gosh, I was like cringing inside to name my sin to another person who I don't want to admit my fault. That took a lot of courage, and it was very embarrassing, but I did it. Then I showed it to her, and she said, okay. So it is very difficult for us to look at ourselves and to say, no, I've done so many wrong things just like the other person. We are all sinners and have all fallen short of the glory of God. So there are 4 things. I'm reading this book by Bayok. It's about it's the 4 things that matter the most. Very simple, beautiful book, and the writer says 4 things. One is, please forgive me. One is, I forgive you. The third one is, thank you. And the 4th is, I love you. These 4 things. And he says, if we just do these 4 things in life, many of our relationships will work out the way it's meant to be. I'll say that again. Please forgive me. I forgive you. Thank you. It shows that I appreciate what you're doing. And I love you. And so let's look at ourselves, because many times we tend to it's a big struggle to take the attention from the other person and to put it on myself. What am I doing that's wrong? And to the daily go through that, no? It's scourging, it is crucifying. What did I do that was wrong? And as I speak to you, I speak to myself as well. There's so many areas that need to be varnished and polished and scrubbed, and yeah, I need to break out of these habits which might come in the path of me going to heaven. So I encourage all of us to remember that if we want to share with someone who's an unbiased person, share it with Jesus. Get the journal, write it down, and yeah, the 4 things. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and God bless.